はい、皆さん、こんにちは。NTT データの下垣です。次のセッションはですね、ソフトウェアで実現するカーボンニュートラル、イントロダクションオブグリーンソフトウェアファウンデーションということでお伝えしていきたいと思います。はい、グリーンソフトウェアファウンデーションへの加盟ということでですね、ソフトウェアによる、カーボンニュートラルへの取り組みを、加速する非営利団体ということで、グリーンソフトウェアファウンデーションという団体があります。こちらですね、マイクロソフトさん、GitHub さん、アクセンチュアさん、ソートワークスさんによってですね、今年の5月、2021年の5月に、設立された、ばかりの、団体になっておりまして、ソフトウェアのグリーン化に取り組む、グローバルな非営利団体。Linux ファウンデーションっていう団体がおありなのをご存知の方も多いかもしれませんが、そこの下部組織として、立ち上がりました。それぞれミッション、ビジョン、目標を掲げておりまして、運営を進めているんですけれども、NTT データもですね、ここの、6社目のコアメンバーとして、加盟いたしまして、このグリーンソフトウェアファウンデーションの運営に関わっているというところでございます。はい。それでですね、このセッションではこのグリーンソフトウェアファウンデーションのチェアマンであるアシムさんにインタビューを行っていますので、そちらでグリーンソフトウェアファウンデーションどういうものというのをご確認いただければなと思います。お願いします。
Hello, Asim.
Hi, Chairperson.
Yeah, thank you very much for having this meeting today with you. I'm so excited to collaborate with you all over the world and Green Software Foundation members. So I have some questions about the activity of Green Software Foundation. So I'd like to start to talk about these topics. At first, would you like to ask you to introduce yourself and Green Software Foundation activity?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the introduction and for the opportunity to speak here. I have a few slides I'd love to present, if that's okay. So let's just, thank you so much. Have a few slides just to introduce the Green Software Foundation. So we're a new foundation, a non-profit. We were launched 4 or 5 months ago. And our mission is to build a trusted ecosystem of people, standards, tooling, and best practices for building green software. And very specifically, when we're talking about green software, we're talking about software which causes less harm to the environment. So reducing the emissions of the software itself. Who am I? So I'm Asim Hussain. I am the chairperson and executive director of the Green Software Foundation. I'm also, I have another job. I'm the Green Cloud advocacy lead at Microsoft. So my life is all very much around how do you look at software, how do you look at sustainability as a software engineer through the lens of someone who builds software. So yes, the foundation has now 16 members, and we're very excited to say that NTT Data is now one of our steering members, and our steering members help guide the foundation, help kind of give us direction and the direction we want to go in. So we have 4 working groups: a standards working group, which is focused on creating standards around green software. Innovation working group focuses a lot on open source and creating open source tooling around it. Community is all about growing the community of green software practitioners all over the world. And the trademark working group is, our legal protection on, what we create. And obviously on top of that, we have our steering committee who help drive and direct the work of the foundation itself. Just to very quickly talk through some of our key projects and the key areas that we work on. The first one is what we call the software carbon intensity specification. I always put this tweet on from Emmanuel Macron. He's the president of France. He tweeted this last year, and it was an intention of, essentially the president of a country is talking about wanting a score, a carbon score for products. And that's really what the software carbon intensity specification is. It's a way of measuring, of scoring a software product for, its carbon emissions. It's built from the ground up just for software. And it's been worked on as part of the standards working group. In terms of open source projects, again, they're being run through the innovation working group. The first one is what we call the software carbon intensity open data project. When people implement our standard, we want them to be able to implement it for free. You will have to pay if you want because some of the data you have to pay for, unfortunately. But we want to make sure at least there's a free version of all the data you need to calculate it, to support, the open source ecosystem and all the people out there who can't afford it at that moment. Also, in order to calculate your score, there should be a software development kit to make it easier. And also we're working on something called a carbon aware software development kit as well. So really tooling to help people build greener software. The community working group is working on quite a few different efforts, running green computing challenges and creating workshops. Everything that we create is going to be open source, Creative Commons that anybody can use, to really grow the ecosystem.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay. And next question. Software carbon emissions are not so high percentage of the total rather than hardware or data center themselves. Why it is important to reduce carbon emission in software?
Wow, what an interesting question. Because software has everything to do with data centers. A data center without software it's just a very expensive building. So software is how that hardware is used. So I think you can make hardware as efficient as you can, but software is how you use it. So I think we have a very important part to play in there. And also the growth. I mean, overall, whether it's software or hardware, right now our percentage emissions is still, I think, quite high, but reasonably low compared to other things like concrete and things like that. But I think, as we all know, we are in a very fast growing industry. The reason our organizations are doing so well is because we are a growth sector. All of our organizations are growing, 10, 20% a year. All our products are growing 10, 20% a year. So by some estimates, we're going to be about 14% of emissions by 2040. Which is actually which means our challenge is even more, because once you think about growth, we don't just have to reduce by 50%. We need to reduce by 75, 80%, because we're going to double by 2030 anyway. So yeah, the challenge is really very big, but we have a large part to play in the solutions, in the software space.
Okay, next question. For the companies which use the software, what is the recommendation as for the first step to start reducing carbon emissions in software for this company?
Yeah. So yeah, measurement is kind of very much the first step. Whatever, and it can be it doesn't have to be so structured and accurate. It can be a very, very rough to begin with. You can just start the process of measurement. Some of this stuff is going to take you years to refine, down the line. A lot of the organizations now that are very, very good at measurement, it's taken them 10 years to get better at measurement. Your people need to understand a lot more of it. We all need to understand, your systems need to understand a lot more of it. It takes a long time to kind of get good at measurement. So just I'd say starting the act of measuring is the very, very, very first step.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the measurement is very difficult for most of the users or most of the companies. So from NTT Data, I'd like to help those users who need some measurement of carbon emission. We will help user companies with some consulting services and some visualization too. Yeah. At last, do you have any comments to the audience of this conference?
I just want to say that I'm very, very, very excited to have NTT Data join the Green Software Foundation. We now have a very strong representation of the world. I feel that you were the last piece in our jigsaw puzzle. We now have a strong representation of the whole world. We're still, I have to say, I do apologize. We still have a lot to do on our side to help make it clear what is it that we're working on. We're working on our website. We're working on our materials just to make it clear to everybody in this audience. Soon you'll be able to see more details about what we're working on. And we're going to make it easier for you to understand how can you get involved if you want to get involved? What areas would you get involved with? What are the aspects for you? So yes, I think that's one of the things that we're looking for. And we're just, again, really excited to have NTT Data, on board. And, we're just looking forward to the future to see what we do together.
Thank you very much. I'm so excited to collaborate with you as a Green Software Foundation members. Yeah, we are starting to contribute to some working groups. One example is for innovation working group. Our members committed some tools such as IPMI and PowerTop. Yeah, we sent some patches to achieve the measurement of carbon emission as for the servers. Yeah, we will accelerate our activities to the community and Green Software Foundation. Thank you very much.
はい、ということで、はい、皆さん、動画ご覧いただきました。ご理解いただけましたでしょうか。ソフトウェアの領域でのグリーンの取り組み、やるべきことまだまだいっぱいあるというところ、非常にチャレンジングだというところもご理解いただけたなと思います。ソフトウェアのですね、炭素排出基準については今策定中でして、もうすぐ、お伝えできるんじゃないかなというふうに思っております。たくさんのコメントいただいてどうもありがとうございます。かなり興味を持っていただけたなというふうに思いますけれども、NTT データもですね、リーディングカンパニーとしてやっぱやるべきことをやっていく。しかもそれを世界中の仲間と一緒にやっていこうというふうにこの件については考えております。このグリーンソフトウェアファンデーション、ぜひ、Google 検索してですね、サイトを訪れてみてください。もし一緒に取り組んでみたいという仲間がいらっしゃったらですね、ぜひお声掛けいただければと思います。それでは以上です。ありがとうございました。